Hello, I'm Hayden Lamb, and here is my presentation on molecular gastronomy. You can see here are some examples of what you can do with this type of cooking. So I'll start off with the history and the creation of this. The term molecular gastronomy was first created by Nicholas Curti and Hervé Thie. I don't know if I'm pronouncing those correctly, but they were a physicist and chemist, respectively, who coined this term in 1988, and they both sought to use science to explain and improve the traditional cooking techniques. So instead of just taking what had worked in the past based on just experience, they wanted to find out what the scientific principles were behind why different cooking techniques worked or didn't work. And one of their big ideas that's was the most revolutionary was thinking of ingredients as just states of matter, and you can control those in a variety of different ways. So you can either, two examples of this are you can turn one state of matter into a different state of matter, like boiling a liquid and creating a steam. I'll get to that later. Or you can fuse two. So, for example, if you have a foam that's just a gas and a liquid fused together. And after them came Ferran Adria, who really brought their ideals to a mainstream restaurant called El Bulli, which was very celebrated. And then you can see here is a chef from Chicago called Grant Achas, who currently owns a restaurant called Alinea and is one of the leading molecular gastronomy chefs in the world right now. So my first technique that I will share with you is called spherification, and it's a way of taking liquid and turning them into spheres that can be used to add visual appeal or just make a dish more interesting. And you make it by taking your desired liquid, be it apple juice or a puree of some type, and you mix that with powdered sodium alginate, and then you put that into a dropper or a special multi-dropper array like this that makes it more efficient. And then you drop those into a cold bath of calcium chloride. And when those two chemicals mix, they form a little shell around the little drops of liquid, which results in the spheres that you see here, which have liquid in them but still have a shell around them, so they don't break very easily, at least, but they will still break nicely when you eat them. My next technique I'll share with you is foaming. And foaming is a way of taking liquid, like I talked about before, and transform liquid and gas and transforming them into a matrix of very closely compacted pattern of liquid and gas. And the way you do this is because for pretty much everything else, you can't just mix it up with a beater. Otherwise, like if you were to do that to water, it wouldn't do anything, like no foam is going to come out. So you need something like soy lecithin, which when added to liquids will allow it to stabilize by reducing the surface tension of the liquid so it can become a very stable foam instead of just something that'll fall apart and not be very sturdy to serve. And you can see here there's carrot foam and beet foam and then soy lecithin. And then my final technique that I will be sharing with you is called aromatics, or just is how you present smell in this way of cooking. So it's a way of taking flavor and transforming that into a gas, and you can deliver this in all manner of ways. So it can be in a pillow. This is famous by Grant Alches, who I mentioned previously. Or it can be put into like a little glass, and then you lift up that lid once the guest is ready to eat it. Or you can actually purchase these little utensils that have these little scent dispensers in the center there, and those can dispense smells. And one of the main ways you make this is by infusing water or another liquid with the flavor that you want, and then you can put that into a vaporizer. And here's one example of a vaporizer, but I've also seen examples that are a bit different, a bit bigger. And after you vaporize that, you can put it into one of these delivery methods. And that is my presentation. Thank you.